Living. Okay, so now I'm live. Now I'm live. TikTok, I'm figuring it out. But good morning, everybody. Good Wednesday morning. Hope everybody's doing well. Let me start over. It's a beautiful day here in Atlanta, Georgia. Um, um, I just got out of the shower, and sometimes if you, no matter what you're going through, if you just go take a good long hot shower. Of course, I was out there painting on my chicken coop, and so I got in the shower and scrub all the paint. I get more paint on me than I get on whatever I'm painting. So good Wednesday, everybody. Hope everybody's doing okay, and nobody's in the ICU listening to this, or in an emergency room, or trauma going on, because yeah, you know. But anyhow, thank y'all for the hearts over here. Come on in, set a spell. Take a minute, sit down, stop all that worrying and carrying on. I bought me a case of this, y'all. I'm kind of a strange man. I was over at Even Fresh. There's a little grocery store in College Park called Even Fresh over on uh, uh, Main Street in historic College Park. So anyhow, you can get a case of water, 24 bottles of water. It's usually on sale $3.99, $4.49, something like this. Well, they had this Callaway Blue water in a blue bottle, and it was $9.99 a case. So, I'm thinking, I wonder if it's worth twice as much money for the Callaway Blue water. And so anyhow, I'm like $9.99, 24 times, into $10. What's that, a quarter a bottle? So anyhow, I bought a case of it, and I was drinking the 9.5 pH for a while, the Icelandic water, back when I was trying to get healthy a couple of years ago. It's supposed to help your pH balance in your body. And so anyhow, this Callaway Blue water says captured at the source. They all do that, even if they just bottling it out of New York City somewhere. They all say that. It says Callaway Blue is a clean, crisp tasting spring water that has been perfected by nature and protected for generations by our family. Each bottle of Callaway Blue is captured at the source and naturally filtered by miles of quartzite rock located deep in the foothills of Georgia. Callaway Gardens just right here, an hour south of Atlanta. Deep in the foothills of Georgia's mountains. It is our pleasure to share with you our naturally pure mountain spring water, the Callaway family. So, and anyhow, so I paid $9.99 for a case of it, and it's worth the difference. I know it's weird, but after I drank 10 or 12 of them, and then Ava came in the other night, she's like, man, that water's good, isn't it? And so what is that name you call a wine person that can taste all the different wines? And I used to know what the name of that is, but waters have different taste to them too. But this Callaway water is really good. Anyhow, hopefully they'll send me my cash apps on my TikTok, Callaway Blue. Send me a check for $1,000 and I'll promote it. TikTok might pay me for saying that. You have to be careful what you say over on TikTok. But anyway, for my 123,000 followers, Callaway Blue, it's pretty good water. I'm going to go back there and get me another case of it. And why not pay more for water? Water is probably the gift of life that we give to ourselves each time we drink some, So anyway, y'all, good afternoon. We're going through troublesome times are here, filling men's hearts with fear. Freedom that we all hold dear is at risk. Da, 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 the old gospel song. Da, la, da, la, da, la, da, 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 la, da, la, da, 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 da. So anyhow, I don't watch the news, especially legacy news, that much anymore. Rarely do I ever turn on CNN or ABC or NBC. I never have watched Fox News. Period. Many memories of you know what? I live an hour from Callaway Gardens, and I see where John and Kathy Brock seem to go down there a lot. And I've known other people that go to Callaway Gardens. I've never been to Callaway Gardens. And if I'm mistaken, I think Marriott has a place at Callaway Gardens, which I can get real decent rates at. But I've never made it to Callaway Gardens. And so I wouldn't mind going down there sometime and checking it out. But anyway, I don't really watch news that much anymore, especially the legacy news, because on your iPhone and if you're online somewhere, you get these news alerts come by, an earthquake here, plane here, whatever. So you're not out of the loop, but you're just, I can't sit there and watch hours of news. Just looking at stuff coming across here now. But anyhow, I did, there is this thing in the news now swirling around about how that this alcoholic head of the Defense Department, former Knox News host of some sort, commentator, who's now our head of Department of the Defense Department, were that the people that were in the moment when they were releasing the bombs and sending, they was having a conference call, and it was a reporter on the call, and they was sharing all the intricate details of what's about to happen in real time as it's happening in an unsecured video chat. And, when I think about where we're at right now and what we're going through, my God, are you serious? These are the same people that were so outraged by emails that Hillary Clinton deleted or didn't delete, so outraged at Hillary Clinton's emails, and yet they won't say a word. That no matter if they're sharing intelligence with Putin or if they're turning their backs on our allies, or if they're having unsecured calls, putting our military people, our special forces, our service people in risk. It is odd that we're living through this time right now. And yeah, I did see that where Trump said yesterday, now they're saying, somebody over on TikTok saying, now they're saying they were hacked. And then Trump is such an ignorant man, so ignorant. And he's like a baby Huey, with a big diaper on. He's just an ignorant man. And so now he was saying on there, you can hack into that kind of stuff. Well, his advisor, the guy that was doing it, said, no, nobody hacked in. I sent the invite to people to come, mistakenly invited reporters in, or this reporter in. And it's just weird that the outrage of hypocrisy, when these same people were so outraged. Lock her up, put her in jail. Oh, they just clapped. Yay, put Hillary in jail, put Hillary Clinton in jail. She deleted emails. The outrage of hypocrisy among this group of people, among this group of white people, because that's basically what it is. It's a white Christian nationalist movement that has pulled a coup in our country. And now I see where that Trump, they're saying he signed some kind of executive order today or yesterday. They're changed voting across all 50 states now. Actually and truly, people, if we're going to be honest, they'd like to do away with voting. And they might be on the cusp of doing away with voting. We might have had our last presidential election where the country came out and voted for Donald Trump. We don't know yet if there will be another presidential election. This group of people up here, this group of white Christian people, they will take and undo the democracy if you let them, because they'd really like to force prayer in schools, force everybody to attend church on Sunday, and just ram Christ, their version of Christ, down the throat of the nation. It's really just insane what's going on in this country right now. So, yeah, that's what there are people over on Grace over on TikTok. That Steve Bannon's already said as much. Steve Bannon, who is he's already said that Donald Trump will be president again after this. They're already laying that groundwork. Listen to this right here. The Speaker of the House of Representatives, the Speaker of the House of Representatives said yesterday that they might vote to do away with the federal judiciary. Can you believe that they would do away with the federal court system completely? Just do away with it, and but for somebody, could you imagine if Barack Hussein Obama, the Kenyan, they said, that was a Muslim, they all proclaimed in outrage. Can you imagine if he ever whispered that, why don't we do away with the federal judicial system? How much craziness would have went on in this country? The other side, the MAGA side, the white Christian MAGA side, would have said his life would have been in danger. Y'all know it would have. So anyhow, when I do tune back into politics, which is a little bit, and let me say this also about Elon Musk. And now the Trump people and the MAGA people are just now the people that don't want a Tesla, now they're terrorists, they're just terrorists out there. Let me tell you, as somebody who knows that when you become political, you take on all the risk. My little corner, my print shop became very political, with the banners and hundreds of people coming by. And it became basically a Harris campaign headquarters in Southeast Atlanta. I had people coming from the main headquarters on Cleveland Avenue, the real Harris headquarters, and the people coming from the Harris campaign office in Decatur and on Decatur Street. Those people that were volunteering in the main headquarters were coming to my shop, and they're like, my God, Eddie, you have more activity on this corner going on every day than the actual campaign headquarters has. And so anyway, we're living in these times now. I want people, I know you can't stay outraged forever, but we need to remain outraged. We need to remain vigilant. We need to remain clear-headed and realize what's going on in the country. What's going on in the country is unnatural. It's unseemly. Let me tell you this right here. I haven't been live for a few days. Let me just say, if somebody had sat down with you 20 years ago and said, I want you to imagine what it would be like if all the billionaires in the country took over our government and took over our country. I want you just to imagine, what do you think would happen if billionaires ever took over our country? And you know what we would have said? The first thing they would want to do is do away with federal help programs for poor people. That's what billionaires would want to do. They'd want to do away with welfare. They'd want to do away with food stamps. They'd want to do away with U.S. aid that was sending millions of pounds of food to hungry nations around the world. That's what the billionaires would do. That's what we would have assumed billionaires would do. Billionaires in control would want to do away with Social Security, would want to do away with any kind of government programs to help poor people. And y'all, you know what's happening now that billionaires are in control? That's exactly what's happening. I see some, there is nothing American about it. I've seen some reports that when they canceled all and let all the workers go for the USA Department or whatever, that there were literally warehouses filled with hundreds of millions of pounds of food that was just going to rot. They'd rather let it sit and rot in warehouses than to get it to countries over in Africa and different places around the world where people are hungry and need food to survive. So this is what we're living in now, all done under the umbrella of a Christ-like MAGA white Christian movement that are intent on doing away with school lunch programs for poor children in the country. I think their intent, y'all think I'm crying wolf, they're intent on stripping Social Security down to where it's basically nothing anymore. Republicans have been against the big Deal movement of FDR for the last 50, 60 years. Ever since it's been around, Republicans have always said, do away with Medicare, do away with Medicaid, do away with Social Security, do away with welfare, do away with all this. So now that we have this white Christian national movement, which is known as MAGA, take over the country and do this coup in the country, here's what they're doing. They're doing away with anything that would help working poor people. And they've got working poor people to buy into the fact to do away with it, because they're like, oh, they're only helping the other people. You know, I was raised up in a time where like the only people get food stamps is black people. That's what white people would say in the South. Yeah, we don't need welfare. And then when you really look at it, a lot more white people are on welfare and got welfare than all the other minorities combined. But yet you have to sell people on the fact that let me hang that up, that it's for the other people. And people will vote against their own self-interest. So anyhow, that's what I'm saying today. Do not, we need numbers out fighting for every influencer in Democratic grounds. Yes, we did. Hey, Miss Rhonda, I see you over on TikTok. I agree with you, Grace. There's nothing American about what's going on. Myra, how do these billionaires live with themselves? They're full of the devil. That's what it is. And the church give them the keys to become the devil. You know what I'm outraged at? I'm outraged at the goddamn Baptists and the Christians in this country that has sold out the soul of this nation because of their own stupidity and ignorance. I'm just outraged at that. How in the world could you sit there and read, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want, and go all through the life of Jesus where he said, remember the poor and have empathy for other people. And then they sat there and they've sold out the soul of our country to a bunch of goddamn billionaires that has sold us down the creek without a paddle. How dare they? And then they're going to come around, knock on the door and invite you to come down to their little church down here on the corner some Sunday morning. What a bunch of goddamn crazy people. You know, I want to remain outraged. I want to remain outraged. I want to remain vigilant. I want to remain goddamn angry at what these white nationalist Christian people have doing to our country. And these bunch of scumbags that's filled up these federal offices in Washington, D.C. And I don't care if you come across this at 3 o'clock in the morning, you're like, oh, there goes that Eddie again. Fuck you. Fuck you if you did this to our country. What a worthless piece of shit you are to turn this country over to a bunch of goddamn crazy ass people up there in D.C. So anyhow, having said that, got my shower. I feel the Holy Ghost, y'all, you know. Yeah, I'm going to stay outraged. I'm going to remain to be vocal. I'm going to remain to use my voice in whatever way I can to either encourage people or call people out for their goddamn stupidity. You know, people sit there in front of that damn Fox News all day long and feed their stuff that spoon-fed poison. What about Hillary Clinton's emails? What about them? What these same people that's so fake outrage, the same people that's on here screaming, oh, abortion, 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 but take away poor kids' lunches. What a bunch of goddamn hypocrites you are. You know, and half the country sees you. We see who you are. You ain't fooling nobody. And you certainly ain't fooling Christ in any of this either. You know, so good Lord. So anyhow, now that I've said that, I need to go find me a plate of fried chicken somewhere and some potato salad. I haven't ate today. Yeah, that was a call from Kim Lawn coming to do my yard. But anyhow, y'all, that's all I got today. Stay outraged. You know, yeah, it's tiring. I take a break from it. You know, I write my little post in the mornings and I meditate and I do this, but I'm going to stay goddamn outraged at what the hell's going on in this nation. This is a white nationalist Christian coup. It's all about white power. And it's just outrageous what's going on in the country. Outrageous, you know, and I've already kind of, as a political junkie, I've already kind of figured out Bernie Sanders is running for president. Pete Buttigieg is running for president. We don't know. There's reports out that Vice President Harris is going to run again. I think she should. Maybe it wasn't a fair deal to thrust her into. Let her go through a primary season and see if she has support out there that would get to her. I think Pete Buttigieg could win the Democratic nomination. I don't know if an openly gay man and his husband could be elected countrywide. But here's the thing about it is Pete Buttigieg, he can galvanize people like Bernie does. He had a groundswell of people to come out and support him. The country might be so fucked up by the time this election comes around, the people, him being gay might be the least of people's worries about whether he could be president or not. So, so anyway, but Bernie, Pete Buttigieg, and I like Pete too. I don't know if he and Vice President Harris. They say she might run for governor of California, but she might be holding back to run again. And so, listen. When these months quickly go by, we're about 18 months away before the field will start taking place. This next election, we need new voices. We need influencers. I'm going to tell you, people like myself, and I know this could seem a little bit like an ego trip or heady and high-minded, as they used to say in the church, but people online that have thousands of followers and are considered influencers, our voices have to be out there. I'm telling you, I seen something in this last election. There was an afternoon when I was standing by stage at the Vice President Harris was singing, and I was with like 5 other people that were similar to me, just around Georgia and Atlanta. We were influencers, had our own little space, and we are going to be motivated. We're going to wake up. We're going to be angry as fuck about what these white Christian MAGA nationalist people have done to our country. We're going to be upset. We're going to be angry. We're going to be working 24 hours a day to galvanize people to say, hell no, because this is just a horrible, horrible thing that's going on in our country. And I still say this could go off the rails real deeply. Our country could implode. And you got tariffs, and you got this, and you got that, and you got a bunch of scumbags up in D.C. Let's just be honest about it. None of them, they're just a bunch of scumbags up there. This ain't the George Bushes. This ain't the Ronald Reagans. This is a bunch of goddamn scumbags up there in Washington, D.C. And we don't never need to not be outraged anytime they're doing what they're doing. They're cleaning the coffers out up there. Elon Musk gets billions of dollars of money from the U.S. government every year. Donald Trump and all his other cohorts, bunch of grifters and scumbags. That's all they are. They're intent on destroying this country in the way that we've always known America. So anyhow, stealing us blind. Yeah. Appreciate all of it over on TikTok. Y'all, I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to go put me on some Hey, where you go? Put me on some Van Morrison, drive through town, let my little sunroof list, spring in Atlanta. I'm going to go find me somewhere to eat. I haven't ate yet. But anyhow, yeah, outrage. This is what outrage looks like. Get ready. We're going to gear up. We're going to mobilize. This is never going to stand. As long as you got good and decent Americans that's going to fight, this is not going to stand. Love y'all. Let me get off here. Good Lord. I done got myself all worked up into a tizzy, hon.